Hi, family. It is my pleasure to be in the land of the living once again and allow myself to be of service to the Most High God. There are so many things that are going wrong in our communities, and these are topics that I rarely hear anyone discuss. And so I want my platform to be a little different. I want to talk about these things that are happening in our neighborhoods that are very important. And today's topic is going to be more geared toward the men. So I'm praying that you're out there, fellas, and that you're listening to your sis today, because I have something I want to express from a woman's point of view in reference to our relationship with one another, the man and woman relationship, the male-female relationship. I think I discussed in another video that my relationship with men turned sour really early in life, and it was due to the fact that it seemed as though that all men only wanted to have sex with me. And this started when I hit puberty at 12. When my body began to develop and I'm walking to school, I had all these men basically accosting me on the streets, harassing me on the streets. And I'm wearing a book bag. And it was odd, it was strange, because I saw men doing those things to my mother, who was a fully grown woman. And I didn't know how to deal with that because I wasn't equipped to deal with something like that. It was a shock to me. It was kind of scary. It also disgusted me. And I just couldn't believe it. And then as a young girl, you experience men who pull their private parts out and show you this. We had a man that used to come to our junior high school to wear a coat and just open up his coat and flash the little girls. I'm going to say ladies. We were little girls. We were only in the, junior high school. And this guy would do that. And then you'd be on a train and you have men pulling their penises out on the train. I was sitting outside one day waiting for my mom to get ready. And I sat on my stoop and a guy rolls up in a car and he's there lifting up his body so that I can see his penis. And when I screamed out, he rolled off. And so my relationship with men was pretty tarnished early in life. I just didn't like the things that they did. I didn't like what they represented. I didn't have a lot of righteous men in my life to show me what that was. I believe in the commandments as far as honoring your parents. So I'm not going to be too... I don't want to say not honest, because it is being honest, but I don't want to give too much detail about my experience with my dad. But I just want to say that that wasn't great, right? And that's the beginning of your relationship with men. Your dad ought to be this person that you look up to. And unfortunately, I was not blessed to have that. And also, my grandmothers, they taught me the ways of the Lord. My grandfathers weren't present, right? So I didn't get to see this righteous man in a family setting as the head of his household, taking care of, protecting, providing for, and leading his family righteously. I never got to see that. All I saw were men doing bad things to women, men cheating on their women, cheating on their wives, beating them, having, just disappearing. Some of them, they have children, they disappear. I saw drug addicts and alcoholics. And I rarely, and it's so sad when I think about it as a 53-year-old woman, it's pretty sad that I rarely experienced a righteous man. And then those were men there was men who were still home with their women, but I didn't see the righteous part. I didn't see that man of God who took charge of his family in the right way and led his family in the right way. I didn't see that. And that is so sad. It's really sad. And I'm going to be honest with you. I remember working with a lady. She's an elderly lady. I was on home attendant. And the father in that household, that was her son-in-law. She was the mother of the wife who lived in the home, right? And I was the home attendant there, right? But what I loved about this particular father, when he was home, he had worship with the family when he was home, and he included me. So that became the norm when I went there. Thank God I was a Bible believer, and I was fine with that. I was okay with that. And so I had finally, in all my years of life, had the opportunity to be led in a home, in a household for Bible study and worship. We would sing hymns together, and then he would allow each of us to express how we felt about whatever the topic was that we want to be discussing in the Bible. And the last worship that I had with his family, because I ended up moving, of course, but the last worship that I had with them, he went around, he asked each of us, what were we appreciative for? And I told him for him. And I began to cry. And I didn't even realize how hurt I was, nor how an emptiness was in me, because I've never had that particular thing that he blessed me with. And unfortunately, his wife was at work that day, so she missed out on that. But his children were there. So that gave them the opportunity to see how blessed they were and how important it is for your dad to lead you to righteousness, to be an example. This was a hardworking man who loved his wife, who loved his children. He adored his daughters. He had 2 daughters. And so when I got a chance, an opportunity to speak, I told him, I said, you know what? I never had this. And I'm feeling so blessed to experience this. It's a blessing to see that men like you are real. Men like you do exist. And I was so filled with emotion. I started crying. He was like, oh, he was blown away. Because see, in his household, it was normal. And I don't know what he grew up seeing. You know, I don't know what his dad did in his household. But I guess he never thought that there are households that didn't have men like himself. I mean, I know he knows it happens. We see a lot of men doing a lot of bad things and setting poor examples. But when I shared that with him, I guess it was humbling for him. And it also let him know that he was doing the right thing. And I was blessed to be in the presence of a godly man. He never made me feel uncomfortable, like he was looking at me a certain way. He was always respectful and mindful, cordial, and carried himself like a righteous brother. And that was so admirable. And I'm telling you, I've been in church for years, and I've witnessed godly men. There were men who would get up there and pray, and I'm like, wow, it's powerful prayer. Or the way they carry themselves, or they just humble themselves and they shed a tear while they're talking about how they love the Lord. Those type of men, I always admired that. I'm like, wow, they're humbling themselves, you know, because for a man to cry, you know, that's something frowned upon, you know, you're a punk or whatever. And to see a man just surrender his all and give his life to the Lord, that to me was very powerful and very rare. Even in the church that I attended for years. I attended church from the time I was 27, and I brought up my daughters there. And I'm definitely not going to call names, but there were times when men in that church had come to me. They complimented me. They thought I was a beautiful woman, and they wondered why I was single. The compliment is fine. If it's coming from a brotherly perspective, and you say, wow, you're a beautiful woman and you're single. Why is that? You know, you're curious. You're naturally curious. That's fine. I have no problem with that. We're adults. We can discuss things like that. But when a man says something to you like, oh, I wish I had met you before I met my wife, that is the most disrespectful, ungodly thing a man can say to a woman. You're in a building, and you know what I thought back then? I had a lot of assumptions that were wrong. I had a lot of fairy tale fantasies about how things should be in life, especially when it comes to the romance department. But I did think that when I went into a church building, the people in there were pure of heart. You know? Listen, I thought that everybody in the church building was pure of heart. We all sinners, you know, but we're trying to get it right. But you have literal devils inside these buildings, right? I had to learn these things along the way. But like I said, when I first started attending church, as an adult, I was 27. So I was still fairly young, and I was naive about a lot of things, you know. So at that time, these men saying these things, I felt a way, because like I said, I always had that unfortunate, I had this relationship with men since I was young. I always felt men looking at me, desiring me for sex. You know, you don't know me. You don't see me. All you see was what you on the outside, and it might be something you like. I'm not attracted to every man, but there are some who are attracted to me. And for you to be a married man in the church, to go to a single woman and say such a thing is despicable. I could have been weak enough to fall for that and then have myself having an affair with somebody in the church. You know, these things happen all the time, especially for a single woman who is lonely and you're desiring a man of God. And because he's in that building, you believe that's what he is. And what, something special about you that he can tell you these things and he may want you because you must be more special than his wife. I'm sure this story played out many times and this scene played out many times in these churches. But I'm saying all this to say this, fellas. Your role in the home is crucial. I mean, it doesn't no job gets more important than the job of a man heading his family in the right direction, being faithful to his wife, being an example to other men. You know, people are looking at us and watching you all the time, especially when you're calling yourself righteous or a Christian or a Bible believer or, whatever you're calling yourself in reference to or being a follower of Christ. People are watching you and people are waiting for you to fail. They want to see you fumble. They want to look at them. You know, and we don't live to please people. We live to please God. But as a righteous man, you have a lot on your shoulders. So your connection with the Father is so important so that you can be that 1 in a million. It's so rare and you're so needed. Brothers, let me talk to you heart to heart, from your sister's heart to yours. Please hear me, not with your ears, but with your heart. You are more than your penis, brothers. You are so much more than your sexual organ. You were born first. God created you first, not born first, but he created Adam first. In his image and likeness. Do you know how important you are? Do you understand the seriousness of being you? And when you go out and you intentionally sleep with several women and make them pregnant and leave them and don't take care of your offspring and make this a vicious cycle of finding as many women as you can to lay with, impregnate, and mistreat, to cheat on, to break her heart, to break her spirit, and then leave her with children to care for alone. Do you understand what you are doing and how you're setting yourself up for a fall and setting up that woman and those children for a rough life? As a single mom, and I'm not here to bash my daughter's father either. We were both young and we both made mistakes. So this is not what this is about, but I want to show you that you need to take your rightful place in the household. You're there to protect everyone in it. You're there to provide for everyone there. You're there to lead everyone in your home. When you make a baby, that baby come from you. I know women, we carry the baby, so a lot of us feel more attached because this baby is actually inside of you growing. But we all start out in the dad. We start out in you, Papa. So we are a part of our dad. We all come from the male, the sperma. That's where we start. And it makes its way to the egg. And mommy, we carry. That's like planting an orange seed, right, into the ground. I'm going to use it as an analogy. The seed is the man, the ground, the earth is the woman, right? What grows from that seed is going to show what seed you put in, right? That would be the orange. Same thing with an apple, etc., etc. So whatever is planted, that tree that's bringing life, is coming from that seed. You, daddy. You know, the Father demonstrated all of this even with himself, when he created, he's the father of all, right? And he's a male. He's a male, right? He, father, that lets us know daddy is male. You know, a woman cannot be a father. A lot of us going around saying, I'm going to be a father and a mother to my child. Fail. A fail. We could never. Don't get me wrong. There are some strong women who did their best and could put their foot in their sons' behinds. Some of them have a bunch of sons, all successful. I saw a woman. She had like 5 sons, and all of her sons grew up to be professionals. I'm not saying it can't happen. She made it happen. She was not having it. But let me tell you something. If you talk to those men, they will tell you that that father figure was missing. Daddies, men, you are more than your penis. You are a teacher. You are there to discipline. You're the disciplinarian part of the household. A lot of times, we women, we holler and scream at our children 1,000 times, and they may not listen. We have to hit them. But if daddy says, sit down, that deep voice, something about that, woo, and look at daddy. Okay, daddy's not playing. Let me sit down. You know, it's a difference. The Lord made us different for a reason, and we both serve valuable purposes. But too many of our homes are missing that male influence that is so needed. Even when it comes to dating. You know, I'm a mom. I was a single mom, and I had my daughters and stuff, and I didn't play. A lot of them said I looked mean or whatever. A lot of my daughter's friends or their little male friends, certain things about me, I guess I look at them a certain way because God did bless me with intuition. I could see when you're not right. And so I would say, I don't like him. Certain guy didn't want to come around me because he knew he didn't have bad intentions. But it's even more of a deterrence when the dad is involved. When your daughter is dating, you don't let your daughter just go on out and without seeing this guy. Come upstairs, sit down, son. Let me talk to you. Let me look you in your eye. The father is so important for that. There was a scene in Bad Boys that I busted out laughing when Martin's daughter, the date came, and how they tortured that poor guy. It was funny and it was extreme. But let me tell you something. That type of daddy ain't having it. That's my precious child, my precious gem, my diamond. You better bring her back the way she left. That is so needed and so necessary. And we don't have that. A lot of times mothers are so tired and doing things on their own that the kids go out and they just say, oh, whatever. They're happy they're out of the house, you know. That's not my story. But I'm just saying, I've seen in my neighborhood where the mom is so worn out from doing everything that it begins to get to the point where she just says, whatever, let them do whatever. They're going to do it anyway. And that fight to discipline and to guide your child, sometimes you lose it. You lose it because you're tired. And we were not meant to raise our children alone, but that's what we're doing. And this is a vicious cycle that keeps repeating. Fellas, you cannot keep running around crushing women's hearts. And for those of you who have a low self-esteem and use your penis to make yourself feel good, you are the worst because you have this attitude of women are just here for my pleasure. And if they're stupid enough to lay down with me, never mind, they really love you and have a heart for you. Yes, women, we make a lot of mistakes. We move too fast. I get all of that. But you guys know when we love you and you take advantage of that. I think that's like number one poor excuse of a brother to meet a woman knowing that she's already been hurt before, knowing that she's seeking something more now, and she's hoping that you really love her. And then you lie to her and tell her that you love her to get what you want. And once she gives it to you, you just start treating her like crap because you know you can. And a lot of y'all, I say you're like serpents, you know, seeking whom you may destroy. You're not going to go to a woman that has her head together and knows her worth. You're seeking out the women who are weak. You're seeking out the women who just so desperate, that are so desperate for attention and a man. And you know just what to say, just how to say it, just what to do, just how to do it to keep her longing and to keep her chasing you. You're wrong for that, brother. That is not what the Most High God put you on this earth to do, to be some cad running around here using women, treat women horribly. You know what you're doing? You've experienced not having a father in the house yourself. You don't repeat the cycle, brother. You break the curse. Be the curse breaker. You don't repeat that. You know you didn't feel good not having your dad around. Don't hate the world for it. Your dad is going to be held responsible for what he's done. Don't repeat that and put yourself in the same position your dad is in and have your children be in the same position you were in when you felt crushed, when you felt lonely, when you felt abandoned. And you turn around and do the very same thing to your offspring. These children are of you. They are you. And that is why I learned years ago, if a man can do that stuff to his child, he doesn't love himself. You lack self-love. A lot of men are heartbroken and messed up, just like us women. A lot of you have messed up minds and didn't have the proper guidance. But guess what? There comes a time in life where we can never use those excuses anymore. Once we become an adult, we know right from wrong. We know right from wrong. And to keep being in the vein of wrong on purpose, you're going to be accountable for your actions. You're not getting away with anything. To purposefully break hearts, hurt women, abandon your children, and just go off into the sunset like everything is okay. Like you don't have a care in the world. But I know a lot of you have a conscience. I also know that a lot of you did a lot of foolish things in your youth. And now that you're grown, you don't even know how to make amends. Your children are angry. You're ashamed of yourself. So now you don't even know how to make amends. Well, let me tell you something, brothers. Don't allow your ridiculous pride to stop you from humbling yourself, apologizing, and making good time. But the rest of the time we have left, making good of that time to do something better, to reach out, to try to make up. You can't undo what you've done, but you can make it look like you love them enough to start out fresh and do it however they wish to do it. Do it however they wish to do it. Don't leave your children high and dry. I'm telling you, the Father in his infinite wisdom, he knew what he was doing when he made man and woman to come together to create. He knew exactly what each child was going to need from the mother, and he knew what each child was going to need from the father. And when one is missing, a part of you is missing. Hence the brokenness. Broken homes, broken hearts. You know, it's really sad. And I'm trying to figure out, I really am, why so many of our men are so weak in this area. And I'm not knocking y'all, but y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong. I'm not knocking you, but there's gotta be something inside of you to tell you that this is not right. And if you do not have a connection with the Father, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, being selfish and foolish, because nothing is getting in your ear. You know, you're wrong for what you're doing. You would rather argue with your woman, the woman. You're not even with her anymore, but you would argue with her when she's saying, you know, you're not right. Come right here and see your son. Your son needs you. Man, whatever. You know, you're getting upset. You use her as an excuse not to see your children. You know, I can't stand my baby mama. She get on my nerves. Oh, she won't let me see my children. You're going to let somebody stop you from seeing your offspring, from spending time with your offspring? Now, don't get me wrong. I know there are women out here who are so angry that they use the children to punish you with your children. And I know that happens. I know it happens. That does not stop you. There's courts. Unfortunately, we have to allow the system to get involved. You really want to see your child, then you will go to all lengths, you know, to make that happen. Don't allow your child to get grown and say, Daddy, where were you? Why weren't you coming around? Why you don't love me? You know, I'm not going to say who the child was, but it was so heartbreaking. I'm on the phone crying with the child. And she says, why my daddy don't love me? I mean, if that's not the most heartbreaking thing to hear a child say something like that, You know, children, I always thought that was a white people thing, but it's not. It's just a child thing. You have a dad and he's absent. He knows where you live. He knows when your birthday is. He's not around. He doesn't come around. He doesn't contribute. He don't give you a call. You're thinking something must be wrong with me because my daddy is alive and living, but he doesn't contact me. What's wrong with me? And so now you're causing mental anguish and emotional anguish to an innocent child who never asked to be born. Fellas, please. So my answer to her was, your daddy can't love you because he doesn't love himself. Your children are you. They are of you. And if you neglect and mistreat your children, you hate yourself. And it's time to start loving yourself, men, and start loving your women. We need you. We love you. A lot of us are messed up and hurt, and a lot of it comes from issues with our father. And then while we want something, we're longing for a man to love us and treat us right. So then we're running around with all these men, and it's just a mess. And the more men you run into with this lack of self-esteem, the more you're going to get hurt, because these men are users. They see that you're weak. Some of them come in your house sitting up, feet up, playing a game, smoking weed, doing absolutely nothing to contribute to the family. And we're tolerating this, and our children are watching. They have no example of a godly man. And this is what I'm telling you. I'm 53, and I rarely saw a godly man running his household. Unfortunately, even in my own family, I don't know this man. And I'm not saying that all the men are not in the house, but I'm talking about godly men. I'm talking about praying men, leading their family. I'm talking about open up this Bible, let's sit down, let's read this Bible together. I'm talking about a man who picks up his kids, tell them I love them, play with them, talk to them. What happened today at school? Woman, get over here. I love you. Kiss her. Love on her in front of your children so they can see how a man loves his woman. We don't see these things. So I think a lot of us don't even know how to be in relationships. You know, at this age, I was single for 14 years, right? Raising my children. And my mindset was, I feel like being bothered. I don't want to be bothered with these men because I just don't trust you guys. I don't want to be a part of no drama because I like living drama free. Even ever since I was young, I don't want no drama. I don't have patience for nonsense, for cheating, for fighting, for some woman calling me. No, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for the lies and the deceit. And so it just felt good to me to be single because I was feeling safe. And we as women should feel safe with our man. I shouldn't be made to feel like I can't have a man because he's not going to protect me. He's going to hurt me. Do you know how damaged we are as women because of our men, how y'all mistreat us? And to tell you the truth, we only want to be loved, and y'all know that. And when you don't love a woman, you shouldn't misuse her love to get what you want to get from her and treat her bad. You should never do that, man. If you don't feel for a woman the way she feels for you, you tell her. Y'all say, oh, y'all don't want to hear the truth. Not this woman. I love honesty, baby, because if you don't want to be with me, don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. The door is over there. Hit it. Nobody got time for that. And as a man, you know, I'm a man. As a man, then you need to be honest and upright, brother. You need to do the right thing. You need to come legit. And you need to be honest with a woman. If you don't feel for her like that, don't use her. Don't lie to her just so you can get in between her legs. I mean, if that's the type of lifestyle that you want to lead, there are plenty of women who will just have sex with you all willy-nilly and you don't have to commit to her because she wants to act just like you. She's running around here, I'm just doing me. There's plenty of women you can do that with. Why do you select a woman who's desiring of love and weak, you know, and you know that you can take advantage of her? You don't work, you're just sitting around and she's paying the bills. And how do you live with yourself? How? I don't understand how you look in the mirror at yourself and like what you see. But I know you don't. I know you don't. So, brothers, I'm asking you to check yourselves. Connect with your Father. Understand what it is He created you for greatness. He created and designed you for greatness. You are the king of a home, of a castle. When the head is missing, what does the body do? This might be morbid, but imagine me with no head right now. Something crucial is missing. The brain, everything, the eyes, it's gone. So you, as the head of the house, if you're not there, everything is going to go crazy. Things are not going to be right. Something crucial is missing. Something important is not there. You are the head, brothers. The Father made it that way. The Father, Christ, man, woman. And it doesn't matter what a woman thinks, what her mindset is, because she doesn't understand the Bible. She doesn't understand the setup that the Father had set it up. He set it up that way. And He knows what He's doing in His wisdom. If you say you know the Lord and you love the Lord, you wouldn't get upset about that as a woman. If you are with a righteous brother, he is going to know how to lead you. He's not going to say, women, shut up, sit down. No. Any decision he makes, he's going to God to get the answer for. And he's going to sit down with his woman and you're going to discuss it as a couple and y'all going to come to an agreement and he's going to make the decision based on that. As a man, that is his job. His job is to care for his family, make sure his family has a roof over their head, clothes on their backs, food in their stomach. His job is to be the protector in his house. He's not going to let no teenage boy come in and mess with his daughter. No. He's not going to let his daughter run the streets. He's not going to let his son run the street. He's going to correct them, put them in check, let them know who they are, whose they are, and teach them the ways of the Lord. And when this brother is missing from the family, things fall apart. We see it. We know it. Most of us have lived it. No more excuses, fellas. No more. No more. No more running around making babies all over the place. You can't possibly give these children what they need if you're not in the home. And don't tell me, oh, I take care of my kids. Money is not everything. We all need it to survive, yes, but it's not everything. Your time and attention is more valuable than any amount of money. The example that you set is more valuable than any amount of money. Them seeing you have respect for their mom is more valuable than any amount of money or sneakers or coats or jewelry or whatever it is you think that's you giving your children that makes you feel like you're so fantastic. You're a great dad because I did give them this, I bought that. Lord, have His mercy on us all. I mean, the dysfunction in our neighborhoods is deplorable. And brothers, y'all say a lot.